Hello, welcome to a lightly guided meditation today on calm abiding meditation. And last week I went live with a video on meditation for beginners and had a great response. So I'm hoping some of the people who were on last week made a commitment to sit a certain number of times this week, and I am looking forward to checking in with them at the end of today's video on how they did. And calm abiding meditation is a wonderful complement, or I should say an enhancement of the mindfulness meditation technique. And it can be called peaceful abiding or calm abiding or shamatha. And this is actually a technique that I learned in a Tibetan tradition, and I believe it's a Tibetan tradition, this technique. And I'm hoping that you can incorporate it into your daily or weekly practices. So I would like to invite everybody to take your meditation posture, whether you are sitting on a cushion on the floor, as I am, or in a chair. Just take your meditation posture. We are going to get started with the meditation quickly, and then I will take Q&A at the end. And for those of you watching on a replay, feel free to post your questions when you watch, and I am notified when comments are made, and I can come back and respond or answer any question you have. So I want to just check volume here. Looks like I think everybody can hear me. If not, please post a comment. So let's get started. So taking your meditation posture, and if you're in a chair, just have your feet on the floor, pull up through your spine. We are looking for an alert but relaxed posture. And if you are sitting on the floor cross-legged and that's comfortable, great. If it's a little bit hard, you can elevate your hips. So I sit on a meditation cushion that elevates my hips a little bit above the ground, and then I'm in the triangle, which is a very grounded position, so a very helpful position. So for this practice, we will be keeping our eyes open, slightly ahead of our feet, just to gaze maybe a foot to 2 feet ahead of you. And it's a soft gaze. You're not trying to focus on anything. It's just a very soft gaze. And if at any point it feels very uncomfortable and you want to close your eyes, that is fine as well. So pulling up through the crown of your head so your spine is straight, a posture that communicates to yourself that this is important. This is important time for you to allow yourself a moment of mindfulness. Allow yourself to go deep. Allow yourself to be a human being instead of a human doing. So you can just rest your hands gently wherever they fall on your thighs. You can sort of shrug your shoulders, relax them a little bit, soften your gaze, and gently bring your attention to your breath, whatever that means for you. So you can concentrate on the feeling of the air coming in your nostrils and out your nostrils or your mouth. Either one is fine. Notice the feeling of your body breathing and expanding as you breathe. So just take a moment to check in and bring your attention to your breath. And I'm going to do this with you. And just bring your attention overall to how your body feels right now. You can do a little bit of a scan from your feet up through your legs, your hips, your midsection, your chest, your arms, your neck, your head. Just do a little bit of a scan of your body and just notice what you are feeling with an attitude of acceptance and calm. So, with a non judgmental attitude of acceptance for whatever your body is feeling right now. And then just take a moment to check in with whatever you are feeling emotionally. So just notice whatever emotions are up for you, if they have a physical counterpart, if you feel them somewhere in your body. Just notice whatever you are feeling emotionally right now with an attitude of calm and acceptance. Just notice. And then I'd like you to breathe into this moment exactly as it is. Breathe into this moment with exactly whatever you are feeling emotionally or physically. Just take a breath into it and a nice long exhale. So, with calm abiding, we are going to be accepting and peaceful and calm about whatever is happening externally as we sit in meditation, and whatever is happening internally as we sit. Just peacefully being with ourselves. So maybe just for a moment, just kind of close your eyes and bring to mind a feeling of peaceful acceptance. And you can even visualize that feeling of peaceful acceptance surrounding you, almost like a blanket or a warm bath, or whatever imagery is helpful for you of an attitude of peacefulness to surround you, whether you are feeling peaceful or not. Just bring that attitude of peacefulness and have it surround you. And now I'd like you to bring your attention back to the breath. And we will utilize the basic mindfulness meditation technique of focusing on the breath. Your mind will wander because that's what minds do. You'll bring your attention back to the breath. Your mind will wander because that's what minds do. You'll bring your attention back to the breath. The same way your body will smell something if there is a smell nearby or somebody's cooking nearby, your nose will smell. It's okay. Your ears will hear. I just heard somebody working nearby who was a little on the loud side. I just noticed. I heard. My ears hear. So we will feel things, we will smell things, we will taste things as we sit in meditation. It's all okay. And the same way our nose smells, our mind will wander. And it's okay. And if we notice a smell, fine, we notice the smell, we bring our attention back to the breath. Very gentle, gentle, gentle. So I'm going to ring the gong. I'm going to have you sit for 5 minutes without me saying anything, and I would like just the practice of bringing your attention back to the breath, combined with a calm acceptance of everything that's happening, just calm acceptance of anything external or internal, and bring your attention back to the breath. And just bringing your attention back to the breath if your mind has wandered. Peacefully being with whatever is. Gently focusing on the feeling of breath in your body. Feel yourself settling deeper and deeper as you focus on the breath. And gently, with acceptance, bringing your attention to your breath. And then take a moment as you stay in your meditation posture. Take a moment just to notice whatever you are feeling is okay. Whatever feelings are up for you right now, it's okay. Just notice those feelings and wrap them in a sense of peaceful, calm, abiding, being with. Calmly being with yourself. And then the attention back to the breath. And now take a moment and just scan your body and just notice how your body is feeling now. Again, without judgment, without critique, just notice and surround whatever you are feeling with an attitude of peacefully being with yourself. And bring your attention gently back to the breath. So as you come out of this meditation, take just a moment to notice what, if anything, has shifted for you. As you raise your gaze and look around the room, does anything look different? as you raise your gaze, but retain some of that focus on your breathing, some focus on your body being grounded in this moment. Just notice what that feels like. And then when you're ready, you can stretch your limbs, you can shake it out a little bit. And I am open to your comments or questions. You can say hello. And any questions you have about that practice or about meditation in general, I welcome those. And while I'm waiting for a few questions to come through, I'd like to just talk about the term abiding for a second. So abiding is like being with. So the whole concept of shamatha, of peaceful abiding or calm abiding, it's a matter of bringing in peacefulness and calm to be with ourselves. So even if we are sitting on the cushion feeling enormous anxiety or grief or other difficult emotion, no matter what we're feeling, we can bring an attitude of peacefulness and calm to hold that emotion. So I'm hoping that came through a little bit in the guided meditation. And let me check in on some of the comments. And Facebook users, I can't see your name unless you post it because of the StreamYard. But for YouTubers, I can see your name. Peaceful Days, thank you. You're a wonderful instructor. Thank you, Peaceful Days. That's very nice to hear. And Elaine, Mystic Muma said, this one's a keeper. Love it. Perfect. Willie, that was nice. Thank you. Facebook user enjoyed this so much. Jessica shares it was very calming for her. Perfect. Sarika, thank you. Question from Neutrino. What do you suggest? How many times to train mindfulness daily? So I definitely suggest a daily meditation practice. If you can, a mindfulness meditation. You know, we did the very simple instructions last week, and I can link that later. I can link that in this video here for people who watch the replay. Or you can look on my channel for the one I did last week. And just a basic returning your attention to the breath. And you can always bring in the peaceful abiding concept. If you are just starting out, 10 minutes a day is great. If you can do more, if you can do 15 or 20 minutes a day, that would be wonderful. So part of mindfulness training is the actual sitting on the cushion or in the chair, but basically sitting in your meditation posture and really practicing, really developing the concentration and focus, right? That's the focus on the breath piece. And then the groundedness in the moment. So the actual mindfulness meditation practice is key to then beginning to be able to bring mindfulness into the rest of your day. So for the question, how many times to train mindfulness daily, it's wonderful if you can do a regular sitting practice, but then also bring mindfulness into, pick a chore or two, or pick the shower, right? But certain things we do every day, like brushing our teeth, showering, washing dishes, doing laundry, all of these are wonderful, wonderful opportunities to completely practice mindfulness. So you bring your attention to your breath, to being in the moment, and then the sensory experience of whatever you're doing. So if you're washing the dishes, the sensory experience. So those kind of mindfulness exercises sprinkled throughout the day, also super helpful. Okay, how do we know that mindfulness meditation is working for oneself and it's just not the situations improving with time? Great question. There's an element of belief and faith that goes with that. So for those of you who have not seen my free webinar, and I did put it below the YouTube video, I put a lot of research in there about the research done on mindfulness meditation. And many research studies have shown that 8 weeks of consistent mindfulness meditation actually physically changes the brain in positive ways, and people experience positive shifts. And the research is pretty pervasive. So there are some times where people, there are some situations where it can be more difficult. We talked a little bit last week about anxiety interfering. Yet if you can be calm and calmly keep going and use this peaceful abiding technique around your anxiety, I think you will see improvements. So I would just encourage you to practice, but it is subtle. The changes from meditation are subtle, but over the course of years, major. So, okay, Willie is sharing, wrapping distressing emotions in calm acceptance and peacefulness is an interesting idea. It really helped me notice and feel my emotions much more safely. That makes me so happy. That's perfect, Willie. Thank you for sharing that. That's exactly the practice. All of our emotions are okay. Some of them are uncomfortable. Some of them we really dislike. We don't want to have them. But they're all there for a reason, and sitting with them and peacefully accepting them can shift things in a major way. So, all right, let's see. LD Dell says, thank you very much for this. It was very calming, as was last week's. Great. Melody shares it's very helpful. Good, thank you. I'm glad it was helpful for you. V. Pyrilus, during the meditation, I realized that I do not have any problem in the present moment. Yes, that's I love these comments that are coming across, because this is exactly the point. V. Pyrilus continues, it's just the mind jumping from thoughts to thoughts. Very nice. Yes. So this is the beauty of mindfulness, is mindfulness helps us to become really aware of all these projections, right? Our minds are always working, going over what happened in the past, going over what we might want for the future, right? All of that stuff. And when we come back to right now, it's okay. Right now, we're safe enough. It's good enough, right? It's okay right now in this moment. So that's beautiful. Gloria shares, thank you. Very simple, enjoyable, relaxing, perfect. And Alex is asking, thank you very much for everything. Anxiety disorders can heal from mindfulness, ? Love from Brussels. I think mindfulness practice is a huge help from healing from anxiety disorders. I could not say that it is the sole fix. For some people it might be. I think it's really, really helpful. One reason I created this whole YouTube channel was really to integrate some of the, CBT techniques, EMDR techniques, those kind of psychotherapy techniques with the mindset techniques that are so popular in our society today with the mindfulness, right? It's really an integration of all of these techniques that I think helps people heal and grow and move forward. But mindfulness meditation is a core. It's a core technique to develop. So hopefully that's enough of an answer. Neutrino asking another question. If negative thoughts come when we practice meditation, is there space for cognitive restructuring for some of those thoughts? I think with the mindfulness meditation, we are trying to be non-judgmental. So we're trying not to comment on good thought, bad thought, because we don't really want to be sitting in mindfulness meditation having a lot of good thoughts either, right? The practice is you kind of let the thought go, you return to the breath. Your mind spins out into some scenario, you wake up, you bring it back to the breath. So it's not about mindfulness meditation practice itself is not about cognitive restructuring of thoughts or bringing in CBT tools, nor is it about categorizing good thought, bad thought. Although being aware of how quickly we categorize good thought, bad thought is part of the observer that strengthens with meditation. I'm hoping this makes sense. You can let me know if this makes sense. So we sit in meditation. Our mind takes off into some kind of, I'm going to call it a fantasy. It could be a good fantasy, good, or a bad one. We get lost. We even forget we're here. We forget we're on the cushion. And then all of a sudden something is like, oh yeah, I'm meditating. Bring it back to the breath. So we're not going into, this is a bad thought, this is a good thought. Hopefully that makes sense. It's really just more those little moments of wake up every single time. Like sometimes people feel like, well, my mind wanders too much. Like I had to bring my mind back to the breath, 1,000 times in 5 minutes. Well, great. You had 1,000 wake-up moments in 5 minutes. Every time you recognize, whoops, I was off again. That's a wake-up moment. That's a wake-up, mindful awareness of the present moment, right? When I have that insight that I was just lost in a negative projection, catastrophizing, or fantasy on the good side, it's a wake-up moment. It's not what's happening right here, right now. And again, not to be judgmental, like, oh, well, I spent my whole meditation in, a positive fantasy about something I want to happen in the future. Okay, every time you realize that, attention back to the breath. Mind wanders, attention back to the breath. Artie is asking, how do we stop worrying, fearing over future with help of mindfulness? What technique to use? Hopefully, like, this is the technique, right? So I get many questions from people where I wish I had a magic wand. I wish I had a magic wand that was like, bing, it's all gone. This technique takes practice, practice, practice. That's why meditation is always referred to as a practice. Nobody ever gets it perfect, right? So it's just continual practice of noticing the thought and then bringing it back to the moment. And then when you're off the cushion, you can use some of those other techniques of recognizing, oh, that's a projection, that's catastrophizing, labeling it with a cognitive distortion. You can use those techniques off the cushion. While you're on the cushion, just developing that discipline in a positive way, like the discipline that makes us feel good, not the discipline of somebody beating us up with a bat or ourselves beating ourselves up with a bat, but just sort of that general calm discipline, bringing it back to this moment. Because in this moment, if we are fully 100% in this moment only, there's no anxiety. So again, I'm hoping that makes sense. Alex is sharing, that's a wake-up moment. I love it. I had so many. Great. I'm so happy. So terrific. Now, I know there were a few people who were on last week who wanted to commit to sitting a certain number of times this week. And if you are on, please share. Let me know how that went. And for those of you who are on today, I won't be live again I'll be live again in 3 weeks. So the next 2 weeks, I'm actually spending some time skiing, which is something that brings me joy. So I won't be going live the next 2 weeks, but in 3 weeks, I'll be back. So if you would like to set a goal for yourself of how often you can sit in this next 3 weeks. It could be 5 days a week, 4 days a week, every day. It could be for 10 minutes or 20 minutes. Feel free to put it out there, make a commitment to yourself. This is a commitment. It's not a commitment to me. It's not a commitment to other people. It's a commitment to yourself, your soul, your ability to live a joyful life. So I'll wait and see if there's any last messages here. And I thank everybody for joining me. And for those of you who are new to this channel, please do subscribe on YouTube. It's a big help. Please give the video a like if you liked and enjoyed this, and feel free to share it with somebody. If you feel like there's somebody that this could be useful for, that would be wonderful. Share the video. And I look forward to hearing more of your comments, questions, And I'll see you all in a couple of weeks. All right?